this sort of live recording shit, man. So.
That hurt. More verticality.
Recording in progress. All right. Okay. I don't know why I always get delayed on that, but welcome to the Straight Red Card. And as you can see below us is the one and only, the Soccer OG, the seventh Fox Soccer Channel. Some of you are too young to remember what there was a channel called Fox Soccer Channel. He is the seventh guy we've had on our show since 2014 from the Fox Soccer Channel. It's Max Bretos, folks. Max, welcome.
Oh, yeah. But I was the first at Fox Soccer. I didn't want to announce that because it immediately makes me feel like an ancient person in a dugout of some catacomb. But yeah, by the way, if you guys are you making any more of those animations, I'll take one for my channel. That was fantastic. And I love the tribute to Monty Python.
we those get us in trouble or have in the past, but but we're gonna keep doing them because
they're good.
You got to have a sense of humor about all of this. And I don't think there is. I mean, you got that one guy who does the cartoons and it has Pulisic in it and all the superstars. And that's kind of entertaining. But there's not much else. So hopefully we can add to the flavor here. But Max, what are you up to? Soccer OG, what's going on there, man? Let's get an update.
Oh, yeah. Well, Soccer OG is a labor of love. It's not even a labor. It's an outlet to a couple of years ago, I said, a friend encouraged me when I was pivoting out of pivoting to LAFC from ESPN. He goes, just get something that you can put your name on and you can put all your efforts in. And regardless of where it goes, it's something you can call yourself, call your own. And it pivoted more to, sorry if you hear a squeak toy. It's the dog with the
dog. Yeah.
You hear that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I have the same issues. I have the same issues.
She just got a haircut, so she's in a rowdy mood. And the YouTube platform is amazing. And I was like, you guys are having all the fun. And, everything has to be short form, Twitter or Instagram post. You're like, I want to talk about this. And now you have this 10, 15 minute, 30, an hour to talk about, to me, the most compelling topic anywhere. And I know I'm wearing red, white, and blue glasses when I say that, but the idea of the U.S. men's national team, because they didn't qualify for the World Cup, because they're hosting a World Cup in 2026, this process of qualifying, it's fascinating. And anyone who's in any sport, if you explain it to them, would be drawn into it because there is so much at stake. And then the emergence of these players. So the Soccer OG, check it out. It's under my name, Max Bretos, here on YouTube. I kind of do it myself. It really is all in home, and I need to put some bells and whistles on there as I progress, but it's been nice, steady growth, and got a podcast where I kind of go into my Rolodex, which is a very dated reference.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm 50, buddy. I know what a Rolodex.
By the way, I got that birthday coming up very soon, so I'll be with you.
It's a scary one, isn't it? Yeah. Go
so
ahead.
Max, Fred Baker, one of the questions that we're going to ask you is he asked, where did you get the Soccer OG name from?
Fred, it's when I got the LAFC gig, and part of the appeal of bringing me in is someone who's been at it for a long time, and it's been a long time. It's like well over a quarter century covering the sport, and I can tell you some incredible stories, some horror stories about those years where this sport has grown so quickly. And when I got to LAFC, somebody said, "Well, God, we got the OG," and that kind of held on. And I saw it. I go, "Look, the moniker OG is 1,000 times more cooler than I am." But I said, I'm gonna hitch myself to that, and then I'll throw the word soccer, which unfortunately makes things all a little less cool. We all know that, but that's gonna change. So I figured I'd build it in there, and it's kind of stuck. So I'm married to it. I enjoy it. I'm gonna start printing T-shirts.
There you go.
And take it from there.
Awesome.
I'm gonna catch up with you guys.
So, being that we are also the old guys, although Brett's he's 13 years younger than me. So
what is that? Brett's 36,
38.
38. So I didn't know he was that young.
Yeah, get out of here, Brett. What the heck?
Derek's been grooming me for a decade, so this is really weird, Derek. Stop it.
Shut up. But as you said, Max, there was a time and place many years ago when I felt like I was the only soccer fan on the planet. And when I would talk to people about U.S. soccer, they'd be like, well, whatever, what's up? Who cares? And I was one of those guys when I watched the opening day for the Seattle Sounders, and I am not even a Seattle Sounders fan, and I saw that packed house, I cried.
Yeah, I've had those moments. I've been physically moved or emotionally moved without question with some of those things because it just seemed so far away from resonating. We loved it. We were satisfied with it, but then these huge strides come about where you get hit by it. And even in Major League Soccer, even as recent as this offseason, this transfer market, these guys coming in, top players in their prime, top prospect players out of South America that would normally go straight to, at worst, a mid-table Premier League La Liga side
or Portugal or something like that. Yeah.
So it's just happening fast. I know I say that, but the growth and the overall exposure has not grown as quickly, but you sense the big steps will be coming here. It really centers around the success of the national team and the success of these players. Those are two prongs that could make it jump into another stratosphere. If the USA makes a quarterfinal, then host the World Cup, and then we have, look, this past week was insane. That's something you never thought you would see. Brendan Aronson playing as well as he did for Red Bull Salzburg. And then a week later, Christian Pulisic scoring a goal for Chelsea. You're like, and unfortunately, Weston McKennie got injured. But the fact that this is all happening is, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Brutal.
The gritty dance was bad, though. He needs to work on that.
In fairness,
gritty dance is an American thing.
I know, but he didn't go all in. Pulisic, if you're going to do the gritty after you score a goal you got to go all in, brother. You got to do the whole thing.
And the sad thing is, I'm the youngest here, and that whole gritty dance is over my head. I have no idea what the fuck it is.
It just happened. I just saw it because it's been happening so frequent. But those are the things we got to gravitate to. If there's like if there's something that's capturing the imagination of the country or the world, it's a dance or a song or a TikTok thing. You got to plug into that. We're not going to catch it all the time. But if someone in our soccer sphere does, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I didn't even know what the hell it was until someone told me. That's
a dance on TikTok. We should all do one.
I'm like, yeah, exactly. No, at one of my workplaces, they try to get me on TikTok and do a TikTok campaign. And I just was like, listen, I'm 49. That's not happening. All right. So
the Straight Red Card TikTok channel coming your way.
I think Jake's on there on FIFA America.
Oh, I'm sure Jake is. He's young.
I think he's throwing him out there.
So, being that the upcoming window then is as important to all of us as it is, and probably if we don't get in the World Cup, all of us won't be doing shows anymore because no one's going to watch.
No, we'll have so much more content if that's the case. Can you imagine how much we're going to bitch?
God. The people get lost. We don't care.
How nervous are you about this next window, Max?
Well, Derek, you just made me a whole lot more nervous. Thanks to Bundle.
That's my job here.
He's the pessimistic one of the groups.
It's like, if the U.S. don't qualify for the World Cup and we come on with a show, hey, so we're just checking in on the status of Justin Shea, who's going to get lost. No one cares.
Yeah.
We're trying to watch some NASCAR over here. Winners.
I think
it could happen.
We'll just have an hour-long live stream looping 12 and going, what are we doing?
I don't want to hear that again.
It's just going to be that.
I don't want to hear that again.
For 1 hour.
But honestly, how nervous are you? Seriously.
There's nerves for sure. I mean, if it's handled the right way, and the U.S. should, at very, very worst, finish fourth so we can at least kick the bucket down a little bit.
Right.
But they should finish third. And then the Costa Rica revival is the worst part of all this because they look good and we have to play them at their place, which we have a poor track record. So it's this Mexico game is going to probably put one team in good position and leave the other one in this very perilous ground, or maybe pushes it down to the next game. I mean, if you can get 4 points in the first two games, you're in.
Yes,
but that's 3 points probably does it, and that doesn't seem like a huge target. But things can go belly up really quickly. So there are nerves. I'm confident in this group They should be the best team, even with Weston McKennie injured. They've developed a level of depth and chemistry that should see them through here. I have faith in them. And they're not the same kids as they were early on in this process when Gio Reyna was freaking out because the firework. They've grown a lot together. They've gone through, right? I mean, when you show that, you're like, okay, I'm a little bit nervous now, and it's September of 2021.
Yeah.
So it was earlier than that. But some nerves, I'd say like 25%, just because the suddenness of it.
Mhm.
You know, that we could sit here and then by April 1st, it's all over. So
Yeah.
it's just that how quickly it's approaching. We should be in better position. We should be in better position. We should be where Canada is. We're not. So I wish that was the case.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Brett. Sorry.
I was going to say, I don't have the question pulled up right now. We're going to address this one later on the live stream, but somebody did ask since we really only need 3 points to really qualify, should we park the bus all 3 games and just play for the draws?
No.
It's not going to happen.
No, I wouldn't want to play like that anyways. But
Yeah, that's not it. It's not our thing. But
yeah, exactly.
It's maybe in a unique moment in there where perhaps you're playing Mexico and you have a goal lead and you just, instead of park the bus, you just use a little more caution when you go into some attacks and so forth. Maybe you kick it from 5th gear to say 3rd, but anything beyond that, no.
It's almost
throw
more
Weah and Pulisic at the halfway line, just start booming balls and let them run onto it.
It's almost more likely that Mexico would say, you know what? We've been losing to these guys. So why don't we try the whole park the bus thing and counter on the U.S.? I mean, that would be
it seems to be our kryptonite.
Great point. And listen, we have seen this. We have enough of a sample size to know that we are a bad matchup for Mexico. Now, beating Mexico 4 times is, science fiction. Well, maybe not. But getting in there when Panama and Costa Rica were effective, Panama narrowly missing out, that there's no reason to think the U.S. are going to be really stretched. So a mistake is probably they're not going to be outplayed, I don't think. Based on how Mexico's looked and how the U.S. has performed against Mexico. It's such a bizarre circumstance because you should be confident of going in there and doing what Costa Rica did and got a point. You just don't want to, but their road record's not great. So some people got to put their hand up.
So if we go into Mexico though, when we do lose, then you're going to really be nervous. So the reason I don't want to be Mr. Pessimist, but that's a chance that could happen. So then we got to get that game at Panama. It's an absolute must win. And I think that's the game we can win. And then it'll be over. Hopefully.
On paper,
I'll simply state that the Panama game should be a must win regardless of how we do in Mexico, because we're playing at home. That should be a win for us.
Yes.
And every data point says that it will be a win, and it'll be probably a multi-goal win. When you look at, I think they played Panama at this stage in 2017, and they blew the doors off it. And it was in Orlando. I was there, I remember, and it was so Panama ended up finishing ahead. And this is a better team than it was for both. I think it's a better Panamanian team, which is even though Panama qualified the World Cup, I like this team better, but it's definitely a better USA team. Doesn't mean it all goes that way, but sometimes, not most of the time, this CONCACAF, the tendencies are there for a reason, and they keep coming on, and they become, factual on a regular basis. So we should be nervous, but 80 percentile, 90 percentile should get a victory over Panama in that second game. The other two, the data says things are a little different. Those are 2 places we're not very successful at. But in 2022, and the way Mexico's playing, very capable for getting something.
You're starting to sound like an expected goals guy, Max.
No, I don't. I don't touch expected
all
goals.
These stats and the data says. I mean, I hope you're right. Listen, I mean, but
those ring true a lot. But again, I'm trying to tell coach myself into this, but I just don't know. And
think happy thoughts. Thoughts.
Yeah.
Performance-wise, they win their games. They drop points against Canada, but they win their games. And a team like the U.S. should be best equipped even though they have 2 significant injuries. We don't know about Gio Reyna. My gut says he's not going to be there, or at least he's not going to start.
Too. Yep.
And even with those 2 guys missing, that the U.S. strength was depth and talent and speed. They have that in bushels over everyone else. So they're in a position they want to be. Final 3 games with everything to play for. They should be getting more than 4 points in this window.
Right? Like I said earlier this week, this just means that we're going to be guaranteed to see Luca de la Torre back.
No, are we? Are we guaranteed?
We will. Yes.
Max, are we guaranteed to see Luca take McKennie's spot?
He will make it. He's going to make the squad. And I think when you look, I always say I think. It's a bad habit. I know that when Greg Berhalter brings these guys in and he kind of vets them and he brings them in, there's a process. You get a call up. It's like everywhere else in the world. You get a call up, then you get some minutes, and then you get a start. And we saw that with Chris Richards. We saw that with Gianluca Busio. And we saw that here with Luca de la Torre. So he is definitely going to be in unless something form-wise, the bottom falls out. And we could be critical of Greg Berhalter.
We're tough for that term, form.
He got Luca de la Torre almost like he knew the situation we were going to get in. He's going to start this Honduras game. And now you have this guy with a very important game under his belt, ready for this next 3 games. I don't think he'll start Azteca. I think that's still Acosta, although Tyler Adams has become another mini concern.
Yes.
Because he's not
playing.
I guess the question is Acosta where? As a 6 or an 8?
I'd like him better at an 8, but even
I disagree.
Well, I think he can play the 6. I think he can get away with it in there, and he showed his importance as a set piece taker, and he hits a long ball.
Great.
And the ball travels at the Azteca. He's a guy that's built for games at the Azteca.
Yeah.
When you look at this U.S. team, he should succeed. He just hits it well with both feet.
I'd be fine with him starting at the 6, then starting, say, Musa or Luca de la Torre in front of him.
I think it's tough to put Luca in that spot. Not that he won't, but it's a safer situation Honduras than this one, although it's an option. It's an option, and he's also a good fit in this case, although he does a lot of the McKennie stuff moving forward well. You do want some ball-winning support type guy, which Acosta's a little better at in that position. But good look, we talk about who replaces McKennie, but I think the Adams situation is worth keeping tabs on over these next few weeks.
I mean, are you speaking of the fact that Adams only played 3 minutes today, and earlier he played like the last 15 or 13 minutes of the game? He's not playing as much at Leipzig. Is that
he started one game, and it was like at a back 3, and he was like the central defender. I didn't watch it.
That was weird.
It was weird. Then everything else, and it's coupled with not playing a lot. And while he's not playing a lot, Leipzig are lights out.
Yeah.
And they are on their way in the Europa League. They're moving up in the Bundesliga. I hate to admit it. It's all happened when Jesse Marsch was let go. And look, this should have been an American success story, and it's kind of becoming a bit of an American nightmare. But that's it. We have success stories elsewhere.
Right.
But I mean, I think Tyler Adams will be there. I just don't like the fact that he's a bit player there. That's important to me. I just want to see these games. That puts me at ease when I know guys are playing regularly and their confidence more so is higher.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be something that's going to necessarily face him, though. Adams seems like a really tough-nutted dude. Like, he's not bothered, by that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did you just throw a cat across the room? No, I'm just kidding.
I almost wish I did. It was actually my wife is leaving. I'm passing her purse over. So
okay.
I didn't want to bring a purse on there because then who knows where you guys roll.
Screen cap. There's our thumbnail. We're good.
It looked like you had a cat in your hands.
I have a lot of things to carry.
It looks like
there's that whole meme of the Italian national team all holding purses while they're in the wall. Like back in the day. This is old school.
Those are nice, but I can't pull it off. I can't.
So you don't think it's going to be Adams starting at the 6 and the 2/8s are going to be LDT and Musa?
I would say it would be Adams, Musa, Acosta. What do you think?
No, I love his set pieces, and you're so right about that. And it's an amazing that he is the best set piece taker we have. And that's going to be very valuable. And I was telling Brett the other day, I wish this was high school soccer. You could just like tag people
sub them in. Who got a free kick?
Sub them in to take the set piece, and now you're out. But I don't know. You could be right. I mean, that's a.
What would your preference? What would your preference be?
after what I watch, and I know it's just a really bad Honduras team, but I've been watching LDT play for his club team as well as country. He's just so good at taking a ball and breaking lines and getting up the field. Yeah, he's so good at that.
The other guys can't do it. Musa, yes, but the other two, and you want that. And I wonder if it's better equipped. I just also say that because that Aztec, I kind of foresee, but he's more in the 6th position. If Acosta kind of hitting these balls sideline to sideline to get the wide players, which we need to, which we're supposed to be really good at, whether it's the fullbacks, whether it might be Weah, Aronson, or possibly Pulisic, getting up there. So it's crazy because we're talking about this. This is not even the biggest issue in the US 11, but it's become much bigger because of Weston McKennie. I'm just happy that De La Torre got that 90 minutes. So if he is called into that he has that. He has that confidence, and he responded beautifully. I know Greg Berhalter called him the man of the match. That carries weight. So those are 2 good options at least, as opposed to looking at your midfield and going, who do we play? What do we do? Do we bring back Brendan Aronson? Do we bring back someone else, which is also an option?
He definitely had a good game. Hold on.
Yes.
Get back into focus. But I mean, it's hard to say that the man of the match that match shouldn't have been Acosta, given the fact that he had 3 of the 4 assists. I think should have had more. Did he have all the assists?
No, it's all 3. He was involved. I don't think they were straight assists, but they all came off his free kicks.
Yeah. So I mean, it's tough. It's tough not to give it to him for that reason alone. Plus, he had a very solid game at the 6 as far as the defensive responsibilities are concerned. So
there's
I don't know.
By the way, sorry, go ahead, Brett.
I was just going to say my take would be to say throw Acosta in, because Acosta's had great games against Mexico in the past. We've seen it at Gold Cup. We saw it in Nations League. It's in. Did he play in the home match? I can't even remember at this point. But I know Nations League and Gold Cup were good.
Didn't start, but
I mean, I wouldn't be against throwing him at the 6, benching Adams, and then playing Musa De La Torre in front.
We can't determine it. We have to see how Adams goes from here. He might get back in there. What worries me is Leipzig. I don't think it's a form thing, but Leipzig are so good with the team that they're trotting out there. They're not going to really adjust. He might get some minutes. I think he's going to be scrapping for minutes here, by and large. But that's why Acosta is also valuable, because he can go in a different directions. But that's going to be determined probably March 15th, 16th.
Yeah. The odd thing about all this is, I'm glad that Luca De La Torre will be definitely on the next roster, but he's got to be careful about his mouthiness, because I'm not sure that's really embraced by
the content providers. We all love it.
No, we love it. We love it. But I like the fact that he said in his interview, I should have been there a long time ago.
I've been playing Heracles the entire season.
How did that register with you, Max? I mean, listen, because we got Hoppy liking, tweets that
Berhalter out #.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, just Acosta did not start. It was Musa, Adams, McKennie in that Mexico game. He came in the 82nd minute, so he played 8 minutes, but did not start the game in Cincinnati.
Okay.
Yeah, Matthew Hoppy, I'm sure he has every reason to be unhappy.
Yes.
But you can't bring him in, based on where he's at right now. He's at the wrong club.
Yeah. He's unhappy in Mallorca.
He went to the wrong club. That's all it is. You're not going to get on the national team, even though there's a need at striker, unless you got something to show the manager. And there's nothing. He's played. It's like 5-6 months, maybe. He had that one start and then a couple of sub appearances, I believe, and it's not going to cut it.
And don't get me wrong; those sub appearances in the start were great. We don't have a wide a list of games to go off of. So.
I thought the start was good, and he pulled out. I go, why? Give him a little more time. But that was so long ago.
I know. And you were mentioning something earlier. You were talking about, we're supposed to be good out wide. And maybe one of the reasons we're not out good wide as consistently as we should be is that we're too predictable. I think everybody knows that's what we're going to do. So do you have any frustrations with the way, and I know you do, with the way Greg sometimes has set up and run things? And do you see any evolution going forward, or is this just how it's going to be?
Well, he gives a lot of responsibility to the fullbacks, and that's fine in theory. And when you're looking at these guys, they are effective at getting upfield. They're good dribblers. Serginho Dest, who's in great form, and I'm really excited. I hope this continues on the way to these March games. It's, do you have the right people in place? And I know everyone's had this conversation. Okay, who's going to get out wide and make the impact? Is it going to be the fullbacks, which generally it is, or is it going to be these wingers kind of rotating out, flaring out, so that they can provide from these wide areas? The fullbacks haven't had that final play in months, or really throughout this process. There's the crossing of the ball, and I guess that's part of the reason we've really dried up with center forward goals. Crosses don't get in, and they don't get in dangerous positions. So you need someone to get in there because it's built for a team to cross it in and or break through the opposing team's fullbacks, and that hasn't quite happened. I don't know if you can switch it right now and have this change of plan where let's attack more centrally. Christian Pulisic's a guy who could do it, but he generally plays wide. So it would be a pretty seismic shift to say, hey, let's see if you can find some space in the middle of the park and see if that works here in the final 3 games. So there's not going to be change, but I think there's personnel there to be effective in the wide areas. It just hasn't clicked.
Well, it's interesting to consider how our wingbacks play in comparison to each other. So Dest doesn't necessarily want to do the overlapping round Weah and look for that cross across. He'd prefer to play 1-2s with Weah cut into the middle, whereas Robinson appears more than content with running down that sideline. Problem is that he's partnered with Pulisic, who ideally would work best on that sideline as well as a winger. And they seem to counter, and then Pulisic has to check back because he's not getting the ball enough. And it's just it opens it up.
And then the midfield
we're always more successful on our right than we are on our left.
Well, and then the midfielders, when the backs get too high, the midfielders end up having to pull back and cover behind them. And it seems like it stalls out. Now, on the last game where we won, we saw a few changes. I thought we take it up the wing, but then there'd be a guy on the top of the box near the wing who we could pass it to. So I thought that was an evolution for Greg.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see more.
Yeah, we have to take it with a grain of salt because it's Honduras who are having just a horror show of a qualification process. Mm-hmm. And they were clearly taken by the cold, although, I mean, we were all wrong because I'm watching Comunicaciones of Guatemala. Yeah. And even colder temperatures
win
the Rapids down a man penalties. So that threw everything out of whack.
You know, you could blame that on the usual MLS guys aren't up to snuff, but the other MLS teams and I don't want to get too off subject here, in the Champions League all won. We had New York City FC crush Santos 4-0. Santos Laguna. Santos from
Laguna. You're right.
Is it Santos Laguna? Okay, and then Montreal. No, it was Montreal that crushed Santos Laguna. Right. And then it was New York City defeats Santos from Costa Rica. So, very confusing.
Seattle plays tonight. They should get through, but we shouldn't assume anything.
Yeah.
And then New England got a bye. So, there's going to be 4 MLS teams it should be 4 MLS teams. Should have been 5.
Yeah. How embarrassing is that loss, though, to you? I mean, it always hits me when we're in these preliminary rounds and one of our teams just goes out to like a Honduran team or whatever. It's just like, what are we doing here?
Hey, I don't dwell on that too much. And honestly, it would have been miserable if Montreal didn't do what they did, but that was just, breathtaking. They won that game clean, and they were the better team all night. And 2 beautiful goals by Mihalovic, who's probably in the mix here as another option. I doubt it. He's on the outside looking in, but certainly he has a sniff here, and he's a guy that we don't have a lot of players like. He kind of feels like the Luca Della Torre as well in some ways, of a guy who could break some lines, but also with the goal-scoring prowess. But what Montreal did just supersedes and kind of lets you accentuate the positive and focus on what they did instead of dwelling on the Rapids. You knew there's going to be some casualties along the way. It wasn't bad in the sense that quarterfinals, Colorado was probably going to lose to New York City FC, which has the best chance of making a final of the MLS teams because they're on the right side of the bracket, which I believe does not have the Mexican clubs.
That's right.
So, things are still in place. I'm confident an MLS team wins it this year. It's just it feels like it's more than ever that it's time.
Wouldn't that just be a relief, though? God, I mean, how long have we waited for this?
Yeah, it'd be great for the league, and it
would.
It would be a big shift. It's one of those things that the league, Major League Soccer. I'm an employee of LAFC. I've worked for MLS for a long time. It gets a bad perception, which it doesn't really deserve. It does sometimes, but it creates that perception when they don't get results here. They need to win this and show the region that they are the top dog, and they're getting closer, but they got to get over that final hurdle. I think this is it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you just answered question 2 on this.
Question 2, yeah.
But number 1, what are your expectations for LAFC this year? A non-Bob Bradley LAFC.
Yes, under the watch of Steve Cherundolo, and they're built to be very successful. You know what? It's interesting because I was talking about it with what they did in the offseason. They signed 8 new players, all with good to excellent MLS experience. Topped by Kellen Acosta, topped by Maxime Crépeau, Ilie Sanchez, really good number 6, Franco Escobar, Ryan Hollingshead, just good campaigners for MLS, which LAFC didn't have. When I look at the team as it's equipped now, they are perfect for a CONCACAF Champions League run. Unfortunately, they're not in there because they have depth and they have options, and they're too deep here and there, which should serve them well in MLS. I think it could take them a little bit to get going. There's too many new pieces, and
is Vela back and healthy completely?
He's healthy. He's healthy. Okay. His contract runs out at the summer, so they're going to have to sign him on at least for another 6 months to finish this season. But you would imagine if they sign him, it would be longer. I'm not privy to any of that information. It sounds like he wants to stay, but I just don't know. There's some reports out there, but he has a pretty good situation. But he would certainly. It's going to be an interesting few weeks, and I'm sure we'll know as we get closer. But he's pivotal to their success with Brian Rodriguez and Chicho Arango. They're good. They should have a really good season. If they don't, then it's going to be hard to explain.
Yes.
Why.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Make sure you like the video, give us a comment, and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you next time. Peace.
That hurt.
More verticality.
Recording in progress.